We all know that Green Lantern has a worse imagination than the writers for The Idol, so whenever it comes to fights where he has to save the world, the story will obviously make him succeed, but if he were real, he would be dead in 2 seconds, because he has the dumbest mind wielding the greatest power, and today is no exception, because he had to cut his finger off in order to save the world from the Red Lanterns in the Injustice 2 comic series. So the story starts with Sinestro's daughter, Soranik, who is right now protecting a ringless Hal Jordan and Sinestro from some prime energy consumers, but the reality is that the Red Lanterns only want Sinestro, so they unload 2 armies worth of attacks on Soranik to capture him, but it wasn't enough to put them down, especially Sinestro because he just wants to protect his daughter. And after hearing this, they were about to unload some more gamer flavor on them, but all of a sudden, a few extra lanterns came out of nowhere to help them out, and they had an all-out brawl. But on top of that, one of them dropped their Green Lantern ring, and Hal and Sinestro were fighting over it, but after getting blasted by Soranik to protect them, it turns out it wasn't enough, because Hal got the ring and now became a Red Lantern, and a Lantern who is in control of his anger. And this is more amazing than finally getting to see a woman for the first time, because while the Green Lanterns ran away to their planet Oa to protect Sinestro, Hal is letting his imagination run wild and decking these lanterns up until he was restrained, because a Red Lantern who can control his anger is dangerous and needs to be put down. But Hal refused to let that happen. But the thing is that Guy Gardner, who was with Hal this whole time, is telling them, hey, psst, just suck up for now, and then later, once we get to Oa, we could betray them and have the entire planet help us. So after a little pointless bribery, Hal decided to join this emo band. But even though they technically have Hal, they needed a bigger recruit in order to fight the Green Lanterns and get Sinestro back. And Atrocitus only had one person in mind for the job. So after a little bit of traveling, they found that guy, shoved a ring into their belly button, and made their new recruit a Red Lantern, and that goober was Jeffree Star. And now they're on their way to Oa to get Sinestro, but Guy is telling Hal right now, hey, it's time to betray the Reds. And after telling him to use his imagination right this time, his IQ goes up by 1,000,000 and zooms away to try to warn the Green Lanterns, while Starro and his minions are chasing after him. Eventually, however, he makes it to Oa and was about to give his TED Talk, but gets imprisoned because they assume Hal is going to unleash some anger on them. So he tried to break out and knock some sense into these buckos, but that didn't work. So as a last resort, Hal makes a sword, slices off his finger, deactivating his powers, and warns them about the Reds, who have already arrived and are ready to take down the Green Lanterns. And this battle is more one-sided than Floyd Mayweather versus Deji, because these Green Lanterns were dying according to their rings flying away, and many of them were mind-controlled by Starro, who now shifted gears from capturing Sinestro and decided to just destroy all of Oa. So after seeing this and recruiting a few heavy hitters, a healing Hal Jordan says that this isn't even enough. They need him back on the battlefield. And even though they know he's more useless than a foldable water bottle, they decided to not only hand him back a ring, but they gave Sinestro one as well. And they got to suiting up and were ready to save the day. But even that wasn't enough to save the day, primarily because they're not working as a team. And right now, their biggest threat is a mind-controlled guardian of the universe, who is one of the gigachads of the DC world and is difficult to beat one-on-one. So Hal decided to tighten his belly button and command every single lantern to give him his energy, blast his colon with enough green light, and bum rush this guardian and save them. Now the Reds are kind of cooked because they got their whole roster back. So they decide to retreat like a bunch of pussies, and the Green Lanterns got to live to see another day. And that's about it. Subscribe and I'll see you later.